My journey through New World isn't the normal experience, and today we're going to go through the things I wish I knew sooner. We're going to go in the order of importance to me, so let's go ahead and begin. But if you are new here, you know what to do. Hit that like, comment down below, hit that subscribe. It goes a long way, guys, and I very much appreciate the love lately, so let's begin. So my number one is using the faction bonus daily. This came in clutch during the phase of mid-leveling and endgame. Not only do you get about 10 times the amount of gold, you also get about the triple experience. So completing all three every time you're on saves you time, makes the experience smoother. Lastly, being heavy into crafting, the Rune of Holdings, and gear costing a decent amount of faction points. Just another reason to make sure this is a staple in your routine to gather those faction tokens and experience. Do not pass up on the faction quest. My number two would have to be have a couple builds planned out. Loot drops are kind of random unless you plan on making your gear or buying certain items. By the time you hit level 60, you should have about 3 weapons to the max and starting on your 4th. I went in only having one build planned, and by the time I reached level 40, those weapons were maxed out and I had to fumble around to figure out what I wanted to transition to. For some insight, my goal is to max out all weapons, so I wanted to make sure to move from one, to the next until they were all maxed. So keep that in mind. Always think about, after I max this weapon out, what do I want to play with next, because you're going to get to it. Number three, have some fun. I got so entangled for the first week of release that I forgot to just have fun. I got too competitive, spent too much time doing everything and not what I wanted to in game. I was streamlining so hard, I realized and refocused. The game started to become so much more. Granted, it really slowed my leveling down, but you know what? It's about the experience, not the race. So, like I said, just slow down, smell the roses, have a good time, and do what you feel like doing that day. Don't worry about trying to hit 60 right off the bat or trying to race to the end. Just find what you enjoy in the game and do that. Number 4, quests should be a focus after your 3 faction quests for leveling. I don't know why, but at the start I had the impression that town board was still the best way for XP, which is totally not accurate. For consistent XP that scales perfectly with your character, story quests are the way to go. Not only do you get some of the solid gear and gold, they bring you around Eternum, checking out locations and pointing you in a direction. I was a fool and leveled way past most of my quest lines, so when I returned, I got no benefit to it really at all. Let alone, it took a while to get the quest to match back up with my level. I was like level 35 doing level 15 quests and getting like 300 experience and like 20 gold. It was rough. It was so rough. I wish I would have just kept my quest line in line with my character level. It would have made things a lot smoother, and I probably would have enjoyed those a lot more. Number 6, staying focused on professions. Don't get me wrong, you should experiment and play around with and see what fits you. I made the mistake of going after leatherworking and jewel crafting for my 2 professions without even thinking about how there was no synergy between the two, making my transition into armor making very tiresome, as I had to speed level it up to get it caught back up with my leatherworking. Some of these have synergy. Granted, you can do whatever you want, guys. If you want to be, an armor maker and a food cook, whatever, you can make it happen. But there is a certain synergy that goes with some of these. For instance, leatherworking and armor crafting, you need the leather for the armor, so on and so forth. So it's kind of like, think about which way works best. But again, you do you, boo. And then number 7 is the end game is the beginning of the game. I thought 0 to 60, I kind of dreaded to get to 60 because I was like, oh man, once I get to 60, then what? But it really starts to open up once you get to the end game. So many things are new to you. All these dungeons are a lot harder, or these expeditions are a lot harder than you would think, because we pretty much steamrolled all the way up to Shipyard. But once we got to Shipyard, the difficulty started to spike, and we noticed, okay, this isn't no kids game no more. The big boys need to start coming out. So, don't be scared to hit 60. Make it a goal, but know to yourself that, this is when it starts to open up. Because for me to hit 0 to 60, I spent about 140 hours to get there, and which is maxing out quite a few professions. So I maxed out my leatherworking, maxed out my jewel crafting, I'm starting to work on my armor working, so on and so forth. Skinning's maxed out a lot. Pretty much everything's at like 150. So I have spent a lot of time in this game, and this is where I'm at. But I'm curious, guys, leave down below, what are some things that you learned during your journey 0 to 60? Some things that you wish you would have known sooner, and some things that you didn't know but found very useful as you went through your journey. As always, guys, leave a comment down below. I like to know about all this kinds of stuff. Other than that, guys, it was Feb, and thanks for checking out the video, and have a good night.